my God.
The first one going north on Central Expressway is just as you go into McKinney, and you know that.
Yeah.
You know right where it is.
So, okay. So as long as we're on the clock. Okay. First thing, I think I saw Blazing Saddles. It must have been sometime in the late 70s. It was after the initial screening. So late 70s. I was old enough to remember It's True. So I was puberty.
It's true. Yeah.
I was born in '64. So, and also,
Okay.
is
So
that
you were 10 years old when it came out. It came out in 1974.
And I remember people retrospectively talking about the farting. So that was
Horrible.
after it was screened. And then I remember, hey, cowboy, is that a 10-gallon hat? You just enjoying the show?
You just enjoyed the show. She was a wonderful friend of mine, and she's the one that predicted that I would do something. I did it. You remember a picture called Paper Moon?
I saw it. I know that it was one of your opera, but I remember.
It's the very first thing I ever did in my life. I had never been on stage at all, and she told, "Hey, we don't have to go very, very fast here because we're going to take more than 10 minutes, okay?"
You bet.
Madeline was the one that told me after we finished doing the picture and she was getting ready to go to the airport to get on the airplane. She came by my hotel room. We were right across the hall from each other in St. Joseph, Missouri, and she knocked on the door and she said, "Oh,
I went to St. Jomo for the eclipse, and it was a disaster. It was cloudy. It was cloudy."
You went to St. Joe for wow. That was supposed to be one of the great places to see it, right?
It's going to be in DFW in 2024, so hopefully it'll be okay.
Well, okay, we'll try again. Well,
yeah.
She was the one that said, "You and I are going to work together again in this business." And I said, "No, I'm going back to the fire department." She says, "I don't care. We're going to work together." And boom, 5 months later, 4.5 months later, we're doing Blazing Saddles together. And she said, "Oh, I told you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
And anyway, okay, regarding the single action army revolver.
The what?
The single action army revolver.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it back then. I came from a family of Europeans who were liberal pro-gun control people, and I became a gun nut. Since then, maybe I don't know if it was rebellion. May no harm ever come by my hand until I die of old age. But I shoot at inanimate targets made of paper, and I got a couple of 9s. And I have a single action Uberti.
Do you really?
Yes. Well, it's just a knockoff of the single action army. It's $400 or $500. To buy a real Peacemaker, it's out of my price range.
So it's not ever going to be on the pawn shop thing.
Well, no. I actually saw a single action army revolver by Colt at a gun shop, newly manufactured. They still manufacture that beloved gun. Last time I checked, it was $1,400, and it's probably more now.
And when you think about it, when it was first made, it was probably sold for like $8.97 or something.
How much did you charge Michael J. Fox? $20?
He didn't offer a dime.
Yeah, of course it was a comp. So he takes
That's
out
right.
for Cannon. Yeah. So
but you know what? But Bob Zemeckis paid me a lot of money.
Oh, that is so cool. So that must have been really special for him to have a lot of cameos of great, cowboys.
Yeah. Yes, because there was Harry Carey Jr. and was
Pat Buttram.
Yes, right.
Who was the guy? Who was the guy that said, "If everybody's got one of these auto Watsits, does anybody run anymore?"
Forgotten who did say that. It's funny that people remember so many things about the movies that I've done, and I just kind of scratch my head and say, "Beats me,"
I got to tell you though, I have fired a single action revolver, and I could not possibly take out an entire firing squad in 1 second with a single action revolver. One, two, three. I was really impressed. I was really impressed with Gene Wilder for that.
I love Gene. He was such a great guy, and you know, Gene did so many comedy movies, but he was not funny in real life. He was just a very serious person, a very a straightforward guy. But boy, when he looked at the script and he brought the script to words, man, he made them work. He was such a guy.
I remember hearing all the hype about the new Broadway play, The Producers, and I'd never actually seen the movie. And then I watched it, and I thought it was great.
Oh, it was great.
And I never realized just how sinfully funny it is to laugh at the title "Springtime for Hitler."
Mel has always had this thing for Hitler. I think Hitler, you know, here he's Jewish, but I think Hitler was one of his real heroes.
When I think about Hogan's Heroes, think about all those survivors that wanted to make fun of those Nazi fools.
If only it had been so funny back then to those people.
Yeah. What actually, that makes me think of is Inglorious Bastards. You know, where we can actually.
Yeah. Oh, you're a movie buff, aren't you?
Oh gosh, I love movies. Yes.
Oh, well. Did you see Honeymoon in Vegas?
I know that there was it was James Caan, of course, James Caan, the Godfather, and the parachuting Elvises.
I am the director of the Flying Elvises. I'm Roy Bacon, director of the Flying Elvises, at your service.
Yeah. Sir, I need to rewatch that. It is such an honor, to talk to you. Yeah, and a lot of these movies.
It's a funny picture, and the guy who wrote it and directed it was Andrew Bergman, who actually wrote the first script of Blazing Saddles. He took it to Mel Brooks. Mel had never heard of Andrew Bergman. He was a little kid that had just graduated from the Southern Cal film school, and he got somewhere or other, he got the script to Mel Brooks. Mel liked it and brought in a couple more writers, and away they went. And it started Andrew Bergman on a real good path. He's done some really big pictures.
Well, if I can name drop, I sadly met a Hollywood loser. I met Frank Darabont at the Shawshank reunion, and
Frank
he lost. Darabont.
Shawshank. I don't know.
He lost Best Picture and Best Screenplay in The Shawshank Redemption, and he was nominated but lost. And
lost.
It was wonderful to meet him.
Really?
That's one of my favorite movies of all times.
Well.
Blazing Saddles is one of my guilty pleasures, but Shawshank is one of these inspiring movies that I love.
Yeah. Oh man, I guess. Yeah.
And so tell me your screenwriter friend again. What's his name?
Andrew Bergman.
And so what are some of the other most successful movies he's written?
Gosh, I wish I could tell you, but he's done quite a few. Bobby, you help me on this. You're the guy.
What did he do?
I could look him up. He's the screenwriter of Blazing Saddles, right? I can just look him up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Along with Norman Steinberg and two other guys. One of those guys, of course, is come on, Bobby, get in here.
Fun. Freshman.
Who?
The Freshman.
Right, the Freshman with Matthew Broderick.
Where he meets with this gangster who has a spitting image of Don Corleone.
Okay.
Of course I saw that movie. Yeah.
He's had a good career anyway.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I heard that there was a lawsuit
Yeah,
about that movie.
and the in-laws.
Okay.
The in-laws with what's his
Oh,
name?
Alan Arkin, Peter
Right.
Falk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Brother
that's
Freshman, yeah.
really cool.
Well, we had a lawsuit in Blazing Saddles also. Golly, I've forgotten what the lawsuit was.
Oh God, you devil!
What?
Oh
I
God,
saw
you
that one.
devil.
I saw Oh God, You Devil.
Yeah. The freshman. Soap she did the screenplay with Nora Ephron, and the Scout with what's his name, Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks, yeah.
I just thought of one other thing that I can share. You know
The
how
lawsuit in Blazing Saddles was with Hedy Lamarr. They paid her. She sued him for $1 million. They settled for 50,000.
my name is Headley.
Headley, not Hetty. Headley.
Another thing I love about Blazing Saddles, you know how we're all supposed to be politically correct when we speak publicly in front of others? Blazing
Sure.
Saddles was such a hideous violation of that. And then I thought another movie that did that so brilliantly was Airplane, that made fun of pedophilia. You've ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah. Oh.
That was the only time in my life I ever read a euphemistic obituary that, what's his name? Peter Graves played the bumbling captain. He was not a bumbling captain. He was a pedophilic captain.
And that was going completely away from what he had always done,
Of course. Good morning, Mr. Phelps. I mean, he was respectable before that.
Golly. Wow. And you know what? I think Airplane, for me, is, now that I look back at all of that, I think that's the funniest picture with more comedy jokes, one right after the other. Boom, ba boom, ba boom. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What in the world is he doing in there? But it was just one thing right after the other.
Oh, and when I think of, excuse me, just one second. I want to make sure everybody's, okay. I was just looking at my screenshots. I want to keep this for posterity.
I don't know why, but you look to be, you're frozen right now.
Okay, let me get back. Okay, let me get back on. Okay, so
here we go.
I turned on the trivia track of Airplane, and that enriches it so much that the fighting couple over the PA system over parking is a real life couple that are actually working for LAX.
Really?
Yes.
How did you find that out?
The trivia track. It actually said that on the DVD. And also, what else? That when the Hare Krishna is hit up for a donation, and he says, sorry, I gave it the office. He would be the future Joe Isuzu.
Do you know when that first started, Hare Krishna, right after I went to Hollywood, I went to LAX to catch a plane to go. No, I was getting off the airplane. And one of these guys hits me up. I had never seen a Hare Krishna, never heard of it.
Yeah.
And the sucker actually sold me something. I was so I bought a book or something for $20 or something.
I actually did look into them. They're called the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which is kind of like it's kind of like what Mormons are to Christians, a new branch of an existing religion. And kind of like maybe Nation of Islam is to Islam, even though Nation of Islam hasn't had a very good track record. But,
no.
Yeah, but anyway, the founder of the Hare Krishna, they call themselves the Society for Krishna Consciousness, he published the Bhagavad Gita as it is, specifically as it is, the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And I'd heard the name of Bhagavad Gita because Oppenheimer famously quoted that, because he said when he saw the flash of the atomic bomb,
wow,
he said, I thought of what it said "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." And that was a famous quote by Oppenheimer.
Is that right?
That's
Golly,
right.
my
Yeah,
goodness. Well,
that was really chilling what he said. I guess
oh,
he had, yeah.
okay. Looky here.
So it's been,
We have your address.
uh-huh.
If I'm going to send you a few pictures. How's that?
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, I'm going to send you a few pictures.
So if you're allowed to to accept personal information, Thomas Kellner 589 is my Facebook. You're certainly welcome to text me. You're certainly welcome to come over and cook some serious ribs with me, if I have a barbecue.
Okay.
When we're safe.
Yeah,
First,
when we're safe.
yeah,
It's
first name is
Thomas
Thomas.
Kellner. It's Kellner.
And then there's a dot and then 589, and that uniquely identifies me on Facebook.
Okay. Now
So
you know
Thomas,
that I'm all over Facebook too.
okay, I will check you out, and I will thank you
Okay.
for this
All right.
great time. All right.
We will take this beyond where we are, okay?
I am so honored to have met you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
You and everybody close, be safe.
All right, you got it.
You too, Bobby. Thanks, everybody.
All right, well,
Great.
Thank you now.
Oh,
All right,
good.
good night.
Hope
Good
to
night.
talk to you. Bye.
bye.
I don't know how we get out of here, but
I'll
I'll do it.
I think I can quit.